Welcome to Concrete Block, the podcast where we dive into the latest news and current events from around the world. The country's Supreme Court has barred the liberal Yabloko party from participating in next month's State Duma elections. This decision comes after a lawsuit filed by the nationalist Rodina party, which accused Yabloko of receiving foreign funding and promoting extremism. The ruling effectively removes Russia's oldest liberal party and the only registered party campaigning on a pro-peace platform from the nationwide party list ballot. Yabloko chairman Nikolai Rybakov has announced that the party will appeal the decision within the 5-day deadline and will do everything possible to take part in the election. This move has sparked controversy, with hundreds of people gathering outside the Supreme Court in Moscow to show their support for Yabloko. The party's exclusion from the elections has significant implications for the political landscape in Russia, particularly given the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. It's worth noting that the Central Election Commission officials claim to have uncovered evidence indicating that candidates from Yabloko received funding from abroad, allegations which Rybakov has rejected. The situation highlights the complexities and challenges of Russian politics, where the lines between nationalism and liberalism are often blurred. As we continue to follow this story, it's essential to consider the potential consequences of Yabloko's exclusion on the Russian political scene and the country's relationship with the international community. We'll be keeping a close eye on developments and bringing you updates as more information becomes available. We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Concrete Block. Welcome back to Concrete Block. We're diving into a complex and intriguing story from the world of international politics. The Turkish government has taken a significant step towards ending its decades-long conflict with the Kurdistan Workers' Party, or PKK. A new law has been passed that could pave the way for the reintegration of some PKK members into civilian life. The legislation allows for the suspension of prison sentences and the postponement of investigations and trials for those who commit no terrorism-related crimes during a set period. This move is seen as a crucial step towards peace, but it's not without controversy. Nationalist opposition lawmakers have criticized the government for making concessions to the PKK, which is considered a terrorist organization by Turkey, the US, and the EU. The group has been fighting for Kurdish autonomy and rights since 1984, resulting in over 40,000 deaths and significant economic damage. The law does not cover imprisoned PKK founder Abdullah Öcalan, who has been held on an island near Istanbul since 1999. However, his case is still central to the peace initiative, and his release could be a crucial factor in moving the process forward. The PKK has called the legislation a beginning, but says it contains serious shortcomings. As we consider this development, it's essential to acknowledge the complexities of the conflict and the diverse perspectives involved. While some see this as a historic step towards peace, others view it as a concession to terrorism. The regional implications are also significant, with potential effects on Turkish-Iraqi ties and the integration of Kurdish-administered areas in Syria. As we continue to follow this story, we'll strive to provide balanced and nuanced coverage, exploring the various viewpoints and analyzing the potential outcomes. For now, it's clear that this development marks a critical juncture in the long-standing conflict between Turkey and the PKK. Good evening, and welcome back to the Concrete Block. As we wrap up today's show, we're going to take a closer look at the economic situation in Iran, where the ongoing conflict has had a devastating impact on the country's economy and its people. According to recent reports, the war has pushed some 4 million Iranians into poverty, with many more struggling to make ends meet. The inflation rate has skyrocketed, reaching as high as 66% annually, and food prices have increased by over 140%. This has forced many families to cut back on essential expenses like meat, healthcare, and education. Economist Ahmad Alavi says that the middle class is increasingly facing pressure, with many salaried workers and pensioners falling below the poverty line for the first time. He estimates that between 3.5 and 4.5 million more Iranians have fallen into poverty since the conflict intensified, bringing the total number of people living below the poverty line to over 40 million. The private sector is also feeling the squeeze, with businesses struggling to cope with the uncertainty and volatility of the market. Iranian trader Morteza says that the shift in regional trade routes has brought little benefit to local traders, who are living with constant uncertainty due to exchange rate fluctuations and soaring inflation. While the government has implemented measures like subsidies and price controls to ease some of the pressure, Alavi argues that these policies are unlikely to address the underlying problems. He believes that rebuilding confidence among investors, businesses, and consumers is likely to take much longer than repairing physical damage caused by the war. As we look ahead, it's clear that the situation in Iran remains precarious. The cost of uncertainty has become a major barrier to economic recovery, with many businesses delaying investment and households becoming increasingly cautious about spending. That's all for today's Concrete Block. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, stay informed.